February 20th, 2018. This is the Investitude podcast. John, welcome back from your PowTown skiing trip up in where were you, Salt Lake or something?
Yep, flew into Salt Lake. We got 17 inches last Thursday. We got 2 feet yesterday, Andrew. Yesterday was Monday, President's Day. Between the 18th and 19th, we got 30 inches up on top.
Is that unusual or normal?
Down below. Believe it or not, that's fairly normal to get like one of those a month at least, maybe twice a month of at least a foot or more. They've been dry this year. I mean, out west skiing, I know all you who are big skiers or shredders on the boards know this at least as well as I do, but the West Coast all the way into Colorado has been crap this year. Some of them only have like 30-40% of the mountains open, and you're hitting rocks and all the rest. So they needed this. I want to say Aspen, I don't even know if they've ever got totally open. Aspen, you know, especially Ajax side where it's steep, they need the snow. And they got it. This weekend, I think they got 14 or 18 inches, something like that. And luckily, that same storm was dumping in Salt Lake area. In fact, they closed I-80, Andrew.
Wow.
That's the big highway that more or less goes up to Park City and on to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and so forth. They closed it because there were so many accidents on it. Up in the mountains, people know how to drive. Down in Salt Lake City, there's a bunch of freaking city folk that don't have a clue on how to drive. In the snow, I mean.
Now you're back. You're safe. Time to get some work done before you head off to Europe again. You're going to Dubai. Crazy.
Yeah, heading to Dubai. Gosh, this is another one of those Crypto Valley tours, Andrew. First I'm hitting London, then Milan, then Lugano, then Zug, then Geneva, then Zurich, then down to Dubai. You got to hit it when you can, right?
Yeah, I get it. And I saw the place you're going to be eating at Zurich and giving the presentation. Looks kind of interesting. I'll have to post a link to that.
By the way, our buddy Max Kaiser, Andrew.
Yes.
Which is at Max, Keiser.
Yes.
Just to give some of our friends, you know, their love that they need. Max, who's just been solid on Bitcoin and cryptos for, what do you think, Andrew, 4 or 5 years?
Easy. He's actually one of the most influential people in the crypto space. Him and his wife, Stacy. Yeah, no, he's like 4 or 5.
Dash the one that put him on the tour?
Yeah, they did the tour around America.
With Baldwin's brother or something, right?
Yeah, he was tweeting out he wanted to kick him off the show. He's like, I am the star. It was actually kind of funny because, I don't know, he wants to re-up and do it again or something. And Dash is actually kind of cool. They were down at the Miami Bitcoin event. They had their bus out, and they had some pilot there that flies low-level trick planes. He's like, it's the fastest plane on Earth, just like Dash. So I was like, wow. So anyway, yeah, Max has been on it for a long time.
Max tweeted me, he said, true story. I've been begging CNBC's John Najarian to buy Bitcoin since it was under 100. I'm not positive that that's 100% accurate. We're all about real news, not fake news. And certainly Max is not fake news. I just don't remember if it was under 100, Max.
You don't want to remember.
But I do remember you saying it certainly when it was under 2 or 300. And in any case, any of those would be huge windfalls. And I know Max and Stace have done very well, as they deserve to, for being believers and sticking with it. My problem, Andrew, was when Max told me about it, I bought it in the 300s, and I was out of it, off like a prom dress, as they say.
I knew you were going there.
I didn't stick with it at all, and that was dumb on my part.
Like a lot of people. A lot of people did the same thing.
You know what the problem was? I didn't have the opportunity that a lot of people have now to really understand alternative currencies, altcoins, the usefulness of these. If I would have had that eye-opening experience just when Max was explaining it to me, yeah, I would have been long and strong at 100 or 2, since that really didn't occur for me in a big way until 2017. Unfortunately, I can't say I own it from 100 or 200 all the way up here into the teens. I think this is something that's not going to be going away. I think some of the coins might have some trouble here and there. We probably don't need 1,500 coins, but there's a lot of great technology and a lot of great applications that are being funded by these coins and these ICOs that, you know, normally wouldn't have nearly the same thing happening with a venture capital or private equity firm backing.
Well, I agree. Speaking of, as we move on, Litecoin has got some unusual volume on it. As you know, I own all three. The triumvirate of crypto, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and the Litecoin. And as you know, I added some Litecoin, and there's some unusual activity. It might have to do with the fork, the Litecoin fork that's coming on Cash, but it's something to definitely keep your eye on. Now, on our Investitute website, where we talk about stocks and options throughout the day, live time, I put up the question, is there anything you'd like to talk about on the podcast today? And one of our subscribers, John Mordos, says, hopefully I got his name right, says he wants to know about CELG and Qualcomm, and I looked them up. What is your take on this? If I had to pick one, I would pick the CELG because that thing's down like crazy. What is your thoughts on those?
Obviously, I like, just like you, Andrew, I like CELG. I mean, they reauthorized repurchase of shares, announced an additional $5 billion in share repurchase. That's a pretty big chunk. Not going to be crazy. They're going to buy them on dips, I would imagine. I think that's a big deal, and I think they've got great technology. You look at who owns them. Of course, it's all Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, and so forth. The biggest of the bigs own these guys. For a cancer, for a drug that could come out at any time with the kind of breakthroughs for breast cancer or other cancers, I'd certainly not want to be on the short side of this one. So okay. I like it.
And then
I'm not in it right now, but I like it.
I know it's expensive. Well, price-wise, dollar-wise, you can always hedge around that with options. QCOM, care about that?
Care about it, but I don't like this deal. Quite frankly, I don't like the Avago-Broadcom deal for Qualcomm, and obviously not too many people in the market do. I'm not trying to make that, against them, but, when you look at Qualcomm, you see what's been happening in there. You can't help but kind of think that there's not a lot of true believers, because if there were, with an $84 bid on the table, you would have to think that you're going to see a lot better trade than you've seen in Qualcomm lately. That's one way I'd look at it anyway, Andrew. I mean, you got an $84 bid out there. Okay, so why is the stock trading where it's trading with an $84 bid? Why is it trading 63? $20 under.
Yeah, no, that's something to think about. And then, of course, let's move on to Walmart, which got the slam dance. Schlonged.
Schlonged, whatever. They had they offered up a full year guidance, and they said that on the earnings call, they're going to see a benefit from tax reform, but it's not as big as people thought. Some of that, of course, is because they're paying a lot more for their associates, which most of us applaud them. They reported a $1.33 versus $1.36 estimate. That's a myth. Their revenue, the sales beat, and full year guidance still looks good. The lower end of their guidance, they offered basically $4.75 to $5 a share guidance. The street had been looking at $4.91. So obviously, if it comes out at $5 or better, it's going to be a beat. In other words, they offered a lower end $4.75 to $5 range, and I think that's partly why you're seeing the reaction in the stock today.
Doing anything else now that it's the first thing on here. Shortened week.
Here's one that's had the love lately, Andrew. This red coin, RDD is the symbol. If you trade cryptos, folks, red coin, take a look at that one. This is another one of those crazy things that beginning of February, this stock was 5/100ths of a cent. Yeah, you heard that right. 5/100ths of a cent. It was 0.005. That's where it was trading. Today, it's traded as high as 1.3 cents. I know that's not really lighting up people's worlds. It's up 51% today. I mean, this is one of those classics where when the heat seeker starts to see volumes pick up, and this thing, the volume, again, back in February, the volume was 56,000 coins, beginning of February. Today, it's traded 309,000 coins. So when you see volumes like that, you got to think, okay, again, our heat seeker's always looking for blocks of stock options or futures on the bid, bearish, on the offer, bullish. And we saw a bunch in this one on the offer. So that's why I like it, Andrew. RDD.
I'm looking at it. It's up 48%.
Plus, how many of you folks out there listening to the podcast don't mind getting in there and trading a stock at less than a penny? A coin, I mean. Sorry, didn't mean to call it a stock, folks.
Yeah.
So you got in there and you bought a coin at less than a penny. So you spent $1,000. You own a bunch of coins. If you're lucky and catch something in this one, like we've been lucky enough to catch in several other cryptos, I think you're freaking happy camper. Our Bitcoin, Andrew, as you know, has held in here. It's 11.5. Remember when we were talking about it? What was it? A little over a week ago.
Yeah.
When it traded to 60 some odd hundred, and we were just saying, hey, the 200 days right here at 7,700. Load the boat.
Yep.
Give it a shot. It made it right back above there same day, and 24 hours later it was 9,000, then 10,000. Now it's 11.5.
Right.
BTC. Keep the eye out on Walmart. Watch around, for the Fed and so forth. I'm not scared, Andrew, so far by the pace of the 10-year, and I don't think anybody else is either. They want to talk about a 3 basis point jump. It goes to 290. Okay, I'm fine with that. I just don't want to see 10 and 15 basis point moves in a 2-day period like we saw when it popped from 265 to 285. That's what I don't want to see in a 2-day period. These little moves like this don't scare me. So that's, I think, partly why the S&P came back from a 22-point sell-off in the pre-market to basically unchanged to up on the day right now.
Okay. I'll put links to everything that we talked about into the description below. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, so remember, folks, you want to stay up on all the stuff we're doing in altcoins, cryptocurrencies, options, futures. Subscribe. You just click on the subscribe button. YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, you name it, we're everywhere. You'll get it every day that we put up a new podcast. So thanks for listening and have a great day.